I've been naturally gray since October 2021, 5 years, almost 5 years. And I would like to tell you a little bit of the things that I've learned in the meantime, things I wish I'd known before I stopped dyeing my hair and started this journey. If you want my full backstory on why I decided to go gray and why I did the buzz cut at 51 to achieve it, I did a video a full weeks back in October 2021, and I linked it below in the description of this video, on the cards and on the end card at the end of this video, and you will see all the details about it. Anyway, if you have some questions, please put them below on the comments. In all honesty, I thought that by skipping bleaching my hair and doing the buzz cut, I was going to skip all the major issues that normally are associated with going gray, like damaging my hair and the gray becoming yellow. But I have to be honest, I still had some surprises along the journey, and I would like to start with those. The first surprise that I got, a big one, was that when my hair started to grow, it grew curly. Now, I always knew myself as a straight hair girl with a very dark brown hair, and I'm going to try to find an old photo to place it to show you how my hair was. Very strong, thick, and straight. So imagine my astonishment when my hair started to grow curly, very curly. And the only explanation that I have for it is that the chemicals on the dyes were diminishing the curliness of my hair. Perhaps I don't really have a scientific explanation, a proven one for it. This is just my theory. There's also another thing. My hair was very thick when I was a child and on my teenage years, and as the years passed by, I started to develop androgenetic alopecia and my hair began to thin out. So with thinner hair, you have less weight on the strands, and therefore instead of having straight hair, you might end up with the hair being allowed to have its natural shape, which is a curly one. So both factors together, I think, explain why I had a hair full of curlies, and I'm going to put a photo for you to see how it was. And this is how it looks after 1 day of having washed it. I didn't apply any cream or serum, and I slept on it, so I just combed it. Before leaving home, what I typically do is to apply 1 to 2 pumps of this curl serum, hydrating cream, modulator, whatever you want to call it. It looks like this, and the idea is just to give an extra definition to the curls and give a little bit of hydration to the points of the hair and avoid that frizzy look that we get in winter when there's more humidity in the air. So, and I really don't pay more attention to it than this. In my opinion, gray hair looks best when it's straight because it allows the shine of the hair to pull through and also all the variations and dimension in the different shades, in the mixture of the different shades of the original hair color and the gray silvered ones. Unless, of course, you have the height to pull out a full head of long curls, just like Andy McDowell, for instance, which looks amazing. That's not my case, unfortunately. As I grow older, I find the need to have my hair shorter and shorter, and I think that probably in some years I will go back not to a Blade 4 buzz cut, but something close to it. My second surprise was regarding the amount of gray hairs that I had. I was dyeing my hair pretty much every 2 to 3 weeks because I saw the contrast between my natural hair color and the gray hairs, and it was a big one. I didn't like to see it. So I was totally convinced I had a huge percentage of gray hair. I passed the phase of the curly hairs and started to have hair about this length, and I began to straighten it, that I saw the difference. And again, I'm going to place a photo for you to see what I'm talking about. You can clearly see that the top of my head, it's much grayer, more silver than the bottom one. And that, to a lesser extent, is still what happens today. You can see that I have more silver on the top and less on the bottom, especially below. Now, I'm suffering from androgenetic alopecia, as I said, and I'm treating it. That is the content for another video, but I have many baby hairs here on the top, and the majority of them are coming out as silver. So that is for sure one of the explanations why this difference in proportion still happens. Anyway, it's not as bad as it was, and I'm not mad about it. The third surprise that I got, and this one was also not a very pleasant one, was that I realized when the hair grew up to shin length that silver hair doesn't do you any favors regarding tiredness, paleness, and it brings out every sun-damaged spot, and your dark circles become amplified because the gray hair brings out those gray, bluish, cool undertones in the under eye area. So for me at least, if I don't want to look sick or extremely tired, makeup is a must-have. Lipstick, blush, and for certain, at minimum, mascara to increase the definition on the eyes. A little bit of foundation also helps. Another thing that you are perhaps curious about is to know if the hair changed texture. And personally, because my hair became curly and I have so many new baby hairs growing, especially here at the front, the overall result is that my hair has become much more frizzy than it was. The small baby hairs are always stuck, and if I don't dry my hair with at least passing a comb when I'm putting the hot hair, it will certainly expand like this. Humidity is also an issue for sure. So I found that I have two main concerns with my hair at the moment. The first one is hydration, 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 to become more straight and less voluminous. And the second one is the color. Although I didn't bleach my hair, I found out that gray hair can still become yellow if we expose it to the sun without any protection, like a sunscreen for the hair or a hat, especially in very warm countries. And also there's all the deposits that are placed in the hair by the water when you live in a place in which the water has a lot of lime scale and iron. Those mineral residues can make the hair become more flat, less shiny, and more yellow. I have to say that I don't have a very complicated hair routine. Honestly, I don't have the patience for it, but there are some products that I rely on to take care of these two issues, the frizziness and the hydration. I'm not going to talk in this video about the shampoos that I use because they are chosen to deal with my androgenetic alopecia, and as I said, I will talk about that topic in another video in the future. I apply this oil about half an hour before washing my hair. Apply it to the middles and the ends of my strands and let it stay, and then I wash my hair. What I use is one of the bond repair treatments, either this one from Olaplex that I'm finishing, sorry, or the one from K18, and I only use one of these two, and I alternate between one and the other. At the end, I apply an oil. I used, I think, 2 bottles. This is already empty from this one, the Kerastase Elixir Ultime. And I tried this one, the Olaplex number 7. This is my second bottle. For my hair type, which is a very thin one, I prefer this one, the Olaplex, because I tend to do a heavy-handed application, and with this one I easily apply too much and the hair becomes too saturated and weighed down. So I find that this one hydrates and it's lighter. Doesn't smell as good as the Kerastase, which has an amazing smell, but it's also very nice, more discreet. I'm going to try the K18 oil after this. Regarding the frizziness, the product that I rely most on is this one, and this is the Color Wow Dream Coat, and I apply it on the strands before drying my hair. I always am very careful with the temperature. I have an old Dyson model and I use it in the lowest setting of temperature, not the cold one, the one above, the middle one, and I apply in all the strands the Color Wow before drying the hair, and especially before using hot plates, which I avoid. And if I have small ones here on the top, I apply a very light dusting of this spray. I have to say, I absolutely hated the smell of the traditional L'Oreal Elnet spray, but they have recently come out with this version, which is the nutrition version, which has argan oil, and I love the smell of this. It's very nice. Very happy with it. I can get on my supermarket this spray, which has a very decent price, and it smells amazing and it works well. It fixes the strands, but the hair doesn't become too weighed down or too crunchy. Because I protect my hair from the sun and I didn't bleach it, in the beginning. The only issue that I have is with the lime scale on the water, and therefore I rely on a clarifying shampoo to remove those excess minerals on the water, and it works for me. The one that I've used the most is this Olaplex 4C. It washes very well, and I find that the hair becomes much more smoother and shinier after washing with it. So how long did it took to grow my hair from the buzz cut? Well, about 1 year from the short 4 millimeters height up to about here, 2 years up to here, and then 3, 4, it depends on the length that you want to get. I never go below collarbone length, so I achieve mine about 3 years after doing the buzz cut. Do I regret doing it? No, not at all. I think a buzz cut, probably not one as short as the one I did, is something that particularly is flattering to me, to my shape of face and head, and I will certainly do it again sometime in the future. What has been the reaction regarding my gray hair? Well, there's different reactions depending on the generation that we are talking about, and there's also a cultural difference. I find that younger people are more open to having gray hair and seeing gray hair, and not necessarily connected with old age. But people of the same age as me, and I am at the moment 55 years old, I will do 56 in September. People with my age, specifically I'm talking at the moment of women of my age and older, they have more difficulty doing the jump and stopping dyeing their hair and going gray, because they grew in an age where gray hair was synonymous with old age. So it's something that is difficult to manage. And also because for the majority of women, the amount of gray hair that starts to become problematic with dyeing happens more or less at the same time that perimenopause and menopause. And we all know that that is a very particular difficult time for women, and so it's already sometimes a very difficult period in a woman's life, and we have so many things to deal with that perhaps putting on top of it the idea of going gray makes it more difficult. I think there's also, particularly in Latin and Mediterranean countries, more so than on the North European ones, the idea that a woman after 40 is an old woman. And I've read about many that feel that they become invisible when they pass that threshold. I find that if for you that is an issue, perhaps going gray is not the best idea, because it will increase, it will amplify that invisibility filter that you get. And I'm not saying this because I regret having done the best cut and going gray. I'm saying this because it's the perception that I get. For men in Mediterranean countries, it's very important that women have luscious long hair, and obviously not a gray one. It's a symbol of femininity. I really don't care about it. It's not important at all for me. All this to say that going gray is a very personal decision, and you will know when you are ready to do that step. to stop dyeing your hair. It will click. You will not go back after that. That said, if you decide to try and you stop dyeing your hair and you find that you don't like, there's a quick solution for that. Is dyeing once more. And these were the topics that I wanted to cover in this video. I hope it was helpful to you in giving you some information that may help making a decision if you want to try to go gray or not. And I hope also it was a little bit entertaining. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. It would really help to grow, and it would give me an idea if you enjoy this type of content or not. And if you have any questions or doubts that you think perhaps I would be able to clarify, please leave the questions below in the comments and I will be very happy to reply to you. I would like to thank you for the time that you have just spent with me. I really appreciate it. Until the next one, bye!